Hello everybody out there in the music community. This is Michael Soldier 777 coming at you here. On this video, I want to show something that similar to what Jeff McCormick said, or a video he showed a while back of the first album from the first 10 bands you got into. I'm going to change that a little bit. This is the first album of the first 12 bands I got into. This album's actually purchased myself with the money I had or with the money other people gave me. Not including taped off albums and not including albums I'm no longer into, but only those albums and bands I'm currently into, and only including rock, hard rock, and heavy metal, no pop or new wave stuff. Let's get right to it. So first up we have Rez with Between Heaven and Hell. There you have a great album. I bought this in late 1985. And it's one of my favorite Rez albums. I love that picture in the back there with the guys there. Excellent picture. And so when I first discovered Rez back in '85, I had Hash's bootleg taped off from a friend. And so I had those taped off. So I bought this late '85, but I bought Hash's bootleg, those two cassettes back in summer of '86. But this is the first actual album I bought from Rez. Then I bought House Bootleg after I bought this album. There you have it, Rez Between Heaven and Hell, Community 85. Excellent album. Next up, we have a live album from Jerusalem in His Majesty's Service. There you have it. So I bought this cassette back in early '86 on a cold winter's day. I bought this at a recommendation from the manager of a local book and Bible store. I bought this one. It's funny how your memory works. Um, and Anyway, so I listened to it, had a cassette, and for some reason I didn't like the cassette as much back then, but I much appreciate the album much more now since about the reissue that Boone's Overstock did back in 2018. So Jerusalem in His Majesty's Service. There you have it. Great album. Bought this back in early '86. Next up we have Stryper, Soldiers Under Command. So I bought this back in early '86. I had the cassette taped off, and I also had Young Black Attack taped off, the 4-song original 1984 version. I'm not sure if I discovered Stryper just before Soldiers came out, or just at some point after Soldiers came out. I can't quite remember. I remember having Young Black Attack taped off in a blue cassette, and Soldiers on another cassette. Anyway, so I bought this back in early '86, the cassette at a mall. There you have it, Stryper Soldier Command. And I bought Young Black Attack, the both versions actually, off a friend of mine after I bought this album on cassette. There you have it. Next up is Petra, another live album, Capturing Time and Space. I remember buying this on a hot day in July of '86 from my local book and Bible store on cassette. I already discovered their 3 albums before this one, More Power to Now This World and Beat System Through Other Friends. And I like those albums very much. So after hearing those albums, I was familiar with most of the songs on this album. So I bought this live album back in July of '86. And as far as I'm concerned, this is one of the best live albums of rock history, in my opinion. That one and the 2 Blood Good ones, Live American Shaking World. There you have it, Petra, Captain Tom Space. There you have it. And what's neat with this one is that the cassette and the CD and the vinyl and the video had slightly different versions with some differences between the 4 formats as well. So there's another neat thing to mention too. So if you're buying one or the other, there are things that one version has that the other version don't have on the 4 different versions. This is both the CD and the video version of this album on this Girder reissue on there as well. So there you have it. Next up we have Whiteheart, Don't Wait for the Movie. There you have it. So I bought this around the fall of '86, and I thought it was a pretty good album. I'm not sure '86 or '87. I think it's fall of '86. There you have it. Great album. Um, this is when Whiteheart, this one and the one before Hotline, and sort of got a bit more rockier, I think. And there you have it. I know Freedom is a fan favorite as well. That's a really good album, but this is also a really good album too. Battles are great. The some of the songs, most of the songs there are pretty good. So there you have it. Whiteheart Doing for Movie came out in '86. Next up, we have Daniel Band, Rise Up. There you have it. That's the first Daniel Band album I purchased. I had I was familiar with Run from Darkness because I used to borrow that cassette off a friend of mine a lot. Um, but this is the first album that I bought from them was Rise Up. There you have it, Daniel Band. Also, to another friend of mine gave me the vinyl for that was I lost of Run from Darkness as well. So I had the vinyl for that one. I think back around '87, '88 period. But this is the first one I bought. This is the first album I bought from Daniel Band, Rise Up, which came out in '86. All right, so those are albums I had back in '86. Now we're going into the '87 bands discovered in '87. So first up we have Leviticus, I Shall Conquer. There you have it. So I had the cassette for this one. So I discovered this band in '86, and some great songs in this one. I think my favorite song in this one is Action More Than Words and All's Calm. This is a great, pretty good album. And my favorite album from Leviticus, I think my favorite one might be their last one they put out, Nights of Heaven. But still, it's a pretty good album. Leviticus, I Shall Conquer. I also had the Swedish version, Jal Skal Segra, as well, on CD vinyl. I guess on vinyl as well. One thing I find about the Swedish version, which came in '83, and this one came in '84, is that this one has sort of a bassier mix, and Swedish version has sort of a not so bassy mix. So it depends on which mix you prefer, this one or the other one. But I had the English version, this version back in '87. There you have it. Next up, we have a killer album. I'm not sure which one I discovered first, this one or the other one, which one I bought first. But here we have Saint with Time's End. This is probably my favorite Saint album. Awesome album. Every song in this one's good. I think my favorite track might be Still Killer. But Saint Time's End. I remember getting this back in '87, and I was floored. Really, really good album. There you have it. Next up we have Messiah Prophet with Master of the Metal. There you have it. Great album. What can we say about this one? Came in '86. I think my favorite track might be Battle Cry. Great album. Next up, we have another fantastic band, one of my favorite bands, Bloodgood, with their debut. So what happened was that a friend of mine had the cassette of this one. So I remember taping off of somebody, I forget who it was, back in early '87. So I remember going to an exchange trip to British Columbia back in July of '87. So I bought this one and Detonation at the same time at a bookstore. So this is pretty much the first album. So I had taped off for a few months. Then I bought the original cassette back then. So it's the first album discovered from Bloodgood. There you have it. And that's what I did a lot of times back then. If I discovered an album from a friend, I would tape it off with hopes of buying the original album, a copy of the original album back then. And so I'm glad to have this on the album, and I currently have this on CD and record as well. There you have it. Next up, we have another fantastic album, Barren Cross, Rock for the King. There you have a great album. Every song of this one's good. Dying Day, It's All Come True, Going Nowhere, Rock for the King, Give Your Life, Just a Touch, and Like the Flame. They're probably my favorite tracks on the album. Awesome tracks. Yeah, like the Bloodgood. I discovered this in early '87. Great album, great band. There you have it. Bloodgood, Rock for the King. There you have it. Next up, we have the last one. So I discovered this band in '87, but I got into it in '88, a bit later. We have White Cross with their debut. There you have it. Just every album, this one's good. This album's sort of a slow, what's what we're looking for. This will be considered one of those albums that you listened to back in the day, but never quite got into until much later. Um, and I bought this cassette off a friend of mine back in the day. So it kind of a slow grower on me. I don't know why, but like I said, Rex Carroll is one of the best guitar players in business. Rex Carroll debut came out in '87. There you have it. So there you have it, folks. That's my first 12 albums of the first 12 bands I got into, or the first album got into of the first 12 bands I got into, covering the years 85 to 88 for that 2.5, 3 year period. There you have it. Hope you enjoyed that. If you, I would appreciate if you guys were like, subscribe, and comment below. Let me know your thoughts. What are first albums or the first so many bands you got into back when you were into Christian rock, hard rock, and metal? I didn't count any bands, like I said, that I'm no longer into, or any new wave or pop bands. I don't have any of those in my collection anyway, so there you have it. Anyway, folks, all the best. Have a great day. Bye now.